All right, what's up, everyone? As you can see, I had a very beautiful day. Took one trade with 5 M and Q. I've actually had a very slow start to these accounts, which is nice. I like to dip my little toes in the water before I jump in with funded accounts. So, yeah, I only took one trade, risked around 250 with 5 micros, and the TP was over 400 ticks or a bit over 100 points, however you want to see it. And I'm just gonna mark out not every single thing that I had up on my charts. I'm just gonna mark out the zones and yeah, just the zones and the areas that I was looking at and the zones where it made me actually take the trade. Because usually I mark up a lot, not so much, but I just want you guys to have a little clear view of everything. First zone that was very important today was this 3 hour supply zone, which I'm actually gonna put this in replay mode so you guys understand what I'm looking at or what I was looking at the time. So boom, first was this 3 hour supply zone, which we had already had a nice reaction towards, a nice rejection. Second zone was this 1 hour zone, 1 hour demand zone. Okay, right here. And then the last zone that I was really looking at was this 30 minute, which is a very small 30-minute zone, but at the time it looked pretty good. And I'm not sure if this is the right one. Okay, yeah, it is. Whoopsie. My bad. Okay, yeah. It was this 3 hour supply or demand zone. 30 minute. Jeez, what am I saying? Alright, boom. So market opened up, and of course I marked the high and the low of the 15-minute. No, I don't take trades just based off of the orb breakout. I just like to have it up on the screen. Okay. So boom. But market opens up and I measured the 15-minute range and it's just very tiny. 230 ticks. Usually the first 5 minutes, the first 5 minute candle of 9:30 is usually a bit over 200 ticks. So to see the 15-minute candle just be 200 ticks, it tells you that there's not much volume. Okay, so when I see that there's not much volume, I like to be a bit more, not hesitant, but a bit more patient for trades because as you can see, these 5 minute candlesticks are closing out in a little range here. And right at this moment, around this moment, when I saw the market, being like this, let me see. Yeah, it was at right at 10 a.m. Yes. Okay. I saw the 5 minute candlesticks kind of being in this range, and I was like, okay, if we get a breakout, it's going to be a clear breakout. The breakout is going to be a 5 minute candle close outside of this little range right here, right? Very clear. And that's kind of what I was looking at. But what made me very how do I say it? What made me very confident in the trade was the bigger time frame. And I think the bigger time frame is always going to be your best friend as a scalper. I mean, any sort of trader, it's going to help you in every single way. But what I saw was this area right here. Let me color it a different color for you so you could see what I mean. Right here, these 4 hour candles, they're closing below this area. And when I saw the 6 a.m. 4 hour candle, it closed at 10 a.m. It closed below the area. So I was like, okay, that looks so bearish. Like, most likely it's going to go down from here because it's rejecting the area still. Also, going back to the 5 minute, you can see that price had what am I saying? Price had rejected this 3 hour supply zone 3 times. Now, I could have taken a short up here, but I wasn't so confident in shorts just yet because I wanted to see if we were going to continue to go up or not. But eventually we didn't, right? We had a nice 5 minute candle close not only below this little range, but also outside of the 15-minute range, right? And I mean, as soon as I saw this, I got into the short. Even though we hadn't broken 50%, what I waited for was a small pullback and then a continuation down, breaking this 50% line. And that's exactly what we saw. So my entry ended up being around this area. Literally beautiful entry. Um but again, I wasn't so into the trade because of the previous price action. Normally when I see price action like this, it's kind of a hint that, I shouldn't be sizing up, cuz you could easily get chopped up. But I was confident enough to get straight into the trade. And then as you can see, boom, it ended off being beautiful. So I moved my stop loss. Actually, I actually never moved my stop loss. My stop loss stayed around this area. But looking back, what I could have done potentially, if it wasn't so choppy before, I could have scaled into this and put my stop loss more tighter above this new wick that was created. But me personally, I just didn't feel, confident enough just because of the previous price action. But anyways, it ended off being beautiful. Once I hit a 1-to-1, I broke even. But the thing that made me hold to TP and be confident in it was, if you zoom out, also, if you're wondering why my TP is over here, it's basically just because it was a 1 hour demand zone. And if you look back, you can see this 1 hour demand zone, of course, was some sort of area of interest. So that also made me confident. But my actual TP was a bit above it at 94, right around here. Yeah, but once I hit a 1-to-1, I broke even, and then TP was hit. Now I want to talk about my emotions because yesterday's trade, it looked very similar to this, but my mistake yesterday was trailing my stop loss. It wasn't even that tight, it was just bad timing. Um but yeah, my stop loss yesterday, it was something like this, and then I got stopped out basically at a little wick, and then it continued to go in my direction. And what I learned yesterday, not just yesterday, but the past couple of months of trading, a big mistake of mine has been just doing too much. And what I mean by that is, there's been so many trades that I take that I should have just broken even, but instead I was so emotionally attached to the money that I would trail it, as soon as I made a certain amount of profit, not paying attention to the actual trade. And yesterday's recap, I was talking about that, how, I shouldn't have trailed my stop loss like that because I really wasn't following a plan. I was following my emotions. And someone in the comment was like, okay, greedy. Well, it's not greedy. I'm trying to be kind of the opposite of greedy. I'm trying to follow a plan. And in trading, your plan should be, for most traders, it should be at least to hit over a 1-to-2, or sorry, over a 1-to-1. Aim for a 1-to-2. Why? It makes sense, right? Every time you lose less than you win. It's to avoid those big red days, those big red losses. And as a trader, you just have to try your hardest to not focus on the money, but focus on the trade itself, right? So today really paid off. I mean, I was very patient, and what I'm more actually proud of is that I didn't trail this, right? I didn't trail it. I let it play out, and that was a huge mistake that I had been doing for a couple of months now. But as you can see, I mean, I'm learning as a trader. You live and learn, you lose, you miss, you win, so. And honestly, I've been feeling amazing. I've been feeling different, so much mental clarity, and it's crazy because it has nothing to do with trading, But I'm gonna save that for another video because I know a lot of you guys are just here for the chart work. So there it is. This was the actual trade. Beautiful trade, beautiful RR. And let's keep going. If you want to trade live with me, the link is below. If you want to get a call with me, the link is also below. And thank you guys for watching.